Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.
Hello, good afternoon. It's Alexa here with KelownaNow, and like always, we just want to shout out ATB Wealth. They are amazing for sponsoring our weekly community spotlight, and it brings me amazing people like Mindy Crawford here with me, and I just love community. And the reason why I brought Mindy is she was actually a speaker at one of Amy's Chic retreat events, and I had the opportunity to go to the event. And sometimes you go in with like some expectations, and other times you're like, I'll just go. Like, I mean, how can it be wrong? We were at a chateau. Like, really, I had no, I was just gonna relax and enjoy. But you come out being like, wow, there's so many amazing women and cool things I've never heard of. And so I really wanted to get you on here to talk about this, because I think lots of people don't know. So maybe we can start with just like the basics, like what is human design in simple terms? I know maybe there's not like a simple way to explain that, but you probably know how to say it.
I'll do my best to explain. And so human design, it's a self-discovery and self-awareness system. It was actually created in 1987. So it's still fairly new. And what's really interesting about it is it combines 4 different modalities. So astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, and the chakra system. And it's actually based off of your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace. So it basically gives you a blueprint, I like to call it, which represents your highest potential. So not necessarily where you are right now, but where you could go. So it's very fascinating to really dive into different aspects of who you are at your core. It tells you how your energy flows, how you're meant to make aligned decisions, what your strengths and your gifts are. And it's really all about showing us how unique each of us are and how we're meant to show up in the world.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love astrology. I love chakras.
Same.
I love all those words you just told me. I mean, I'm already a believer, in all those kind of things, but to actually bring them all together and use it for your benefit. And I do think, your beliefs and bringing, and we're all so different. So very cool. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, how does someone like you get, like, where you're just sitting at, like, where were you? And you're like, I'm going to do human design. Like, who inspired you, or a little bit of that background?
Okay, well, I love this question because it brings in the community piece even further. So to give you some background, I was director of digital marketing for Jillian Harris for 7 years. And then I went on maternity leave. And it was in that maternity leave where I finally had that pause to really sit and reflect. And it was in that time where I really thought to myself, I have no idea what I love, how I like to spend my weekends. And of course, being a new mom, you're in the throes, you're going through the thick of it. And I was really trying to figure out, how do I marry this new life of mine to my career? And I was trying to force daycare, and everyone knows how difficult it can be to find childcare. And so none of that was really panning out. My maternity leave was coming closer and closer to an end. And out of the blue, I ended up getting a phone call one day from Amy, who is the founder and owner of High End Hippie. And so she called me and she wanted to discuss some baby products. And I don't even know where this came from, but she brought up human design. And I had heard about the system previously, but it wasn't something that I really dove into. And it was bizarre because as soon as she said human design, I felt this big hit in my gut. And there was just this feeling of, you need to look into this. And so I, of course, was trying to find my birth time, which is really important for human design. If you run your free chart, it's important to have your specific birth time, because some people's charts can change minute to minute, while other people's can stay the same throughout the course of the day. So while I was on the hunt for my specific birth time, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to dive in and learn all about it. And I really wanted to share this system with other people because it's so fascinating. And what happened was I was getting this pull to start something new, to kind of close that chapter and move on and do something of my own. But of course, my mind was telling me, hey, this isn't probably the thing that you should do. It's keeping me in the shoulds. But I thought to myself, if I want to share this with other people, I have to listen to my inner knowing. And so that's when I decided to close a chapter as director of digital marketing and become a human design coach.
Very cool.
Yeah, which is very aligned to my design as well. With when I make aligned decisions, it always comes from my sacral, so that gut feeling.
So, okay, let's talk about that. So you offer this free chart on your website, which we'll put the link into the article. Okay, so I think I've entered mine, but I don't think my birth time was exactly right. So I think I need to redo it.
Yeah.
But can you talk about, I know there's like a couple, and I can't even think of what they're called. Like the
energy types?
Yes. Like we don't need to go crazy detailed, but like, is there 4
quick
or
overview?
5,
There's 5.
Okay.
Some human design readers will say that there's 4, others will say 5, and there's a key difference between the two. So yes, I can do a quick overview. So when you run your free chart, you will see first thing energy type, and you will be 1 of 5. So what was yours?
I'm blanking, and I think I need to redo it.
Okay.
But I bet you once you start talking,
it'll come to you. Okay, so I'm a generator. And so what that means is I have a lot of energy within my body. I'm able to do a lot of things all at once. However, what I'm meant to really put my attention on is doing the things that light me up. When I do, and this is for all generators, when we do things that light us up, we quite literally do what our title tells us. We just start generating energy within our body, which will help support us throughout our day. And then what happens is when we build up this energy by doing things that we love, it pours out of us and it naturally lifts others up that are around us. One thing to keep in mind if you're a generator is pay attention to your boundaries. You want to set strong boundaries because you have this natural capacity to take all of this stuff on. You're going to pile your plate too full, and then all of a sudden you're not really being able to tap into that unlimited energy like you're meant to. So pay attention to your boundaries, focus on the things that light you up. The other energy type is a manifesting generator. And so this is kind of where that combo happens. The difference between manifesting generators and generators is manifesting generators they can do things at like hyper speed. They are multi-passionate. Their careers are not meant to be linear. So they're really meant to go where their energy starts to flow. And
that
this
might be scary a little bit. So if you actually, if you are one of that person that maybe you have no idea, but
for sure
didn't naturally let your okay, sorry, keep going.
That's a big thing. And that's why awareness is so important here. And so also if you are a parent, knowing your child's human design is so important because as a manifesting generator child, maybe they're trying one sport and then they get tired of it and then they move to the next.
But you're pushing them, don't quit things,
exactly.
don't quit things.
Yeah, but they're really just kind of rolling with their energy.
Okay.
And so, they're multi-passionate. They like to skip ahead a lot, whereas generators like to follow step-by-step processes. Then there's projectors. Projectors are natural leaders, teachers, guides, advisors. They really have that bird's eye view on things. They can really see easily how maybe systems need to be tweaked or refined, or maybe someone is not in their strength, and they're really good at refining those things. And then we have manifestors. So manifestors are the trailblazers. They're here to really kind of get things started. What happens is their energy operates quite differently than a generator or manifesting generator. Their energy is going to kind of happen in these big spikes and drops. So when a manifestor is in their energy and their energy's up here, this is a time to initiate, get things off the ground. But when their energy dips down, they're really meant to honor that and not try to act like a generator and keep pushing through, because manifestors are here to bring out these new ideas into the world. And they're able to do that when they give themselves a time to really rest and reflect. That's when they're going to have their next aha moment or big download. So acting on the spike is just as important as really settling into the lower energy phase.
Yep.
And then we have reflectors. So reflectors make up 1% of the population.
They're rare. Yeah.
Yes. So
I think there was a reflector in the group and you were like, really?
Yeah, it's so rare. So reflectors really are the mirrors of the community. It's so important to have a reflector in a community, in a work environment, because they can really see what is happening with everyone. They actually like to sample different energies and environments.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting because they have, this is getting a little bit deeper into things,
but they're the rare ones. So,
they're the rare ones. If you were to pull your free human design chart, you'll see that there's a bunch of shapes in there. These are called your energy centers. You'll see that some are shaded in, some are white. The areas that are white are where we take in a lot of energy. You can almost think of it as you're acting as a sponge. You're soaking it all in. Reflectors have all of their centers completely open.
Oh, wow.
And so they're constantly absorbing stuff from everyone. So they could act like a manifestor one day or a manifesting generator the next.
They're the magicians.
Yeah, they're the magicians for sure. And so it's so important for them to realize, hey, when I'm with someone, I might start to feel this burst in energy. So it's really important too for them to take time alone so they can kind of get rid of everyone else's energy and sink into who they are at their core.
Have you, in your coaching, seen a couple reflectors? And do you think these people are just very spiritual or like connected to, I don't know, like have this higher power? Because that's what a reflector sounds like to me. That they're just like, I don't know. I think you're an energy person. I'm an energy person where you just like, you can feel somebody's like sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
I have some people in my life that I'm like, what do you take in the morning? Like,
yeah.
You are like, Care Bear sunshine.
For sure. Well,
it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great question. And there's a few different layers to that.
Yeah.
First, each energy type emits a different aura. So you'll like generators are very open and they like bring people in. They're very magnetic. Yeah. Projectors are they can like penetrate you. Yeah. But if we're looking at, how you feel when you're in someone's presence, when I was talking about the different energy centers, there's a couple of different sides to the energy center. There's what you could be living in the shadow of that, or you could be living in the wisdom of that. The wisdom is the highest potential. And this is why I say awareness is key, because areas where we're living in our shadow, it's almost keeping us stuck and disempowered, and maybe it's dimming our light, whereas you might just naturally be living in the wisdom of one energy center. So to give you an example, there is the energy center of the ego. Mm-hmm. If you have this undefined, so if it's white in your chart, the shadow of this looks like feeling like you need to constantly prove yourself. So it's over committing, over promising, over delivering, feeling like you have to constantly, maybe your relationships are rooted in the need to prove. Mm-hmm. So that could be present within you without you knowing. You just kind of think that's how you are, when in reality, you might just be rooted in that shadow. Yeah. So by bringing awareness to that and understanding what the wisdom is, it can help pull you from the shadow quicker. So if you're in that wisdom, you just have this deep understanding that while my motivation and my self-worth might go like this, I have nothing to prove. Right. And so each energy center, there's 9 of them, have that shadow and wisdom, and they're going to look different if it's defined in your chart or undefined. So very cool. It's like peeling an onion, honestly.
Once you start aligning and working with it. So I guess for people out there, because I feel like we could go so deep and get I could sit here all day and talk about something like this, but how does someone I think you work with individuals, you work with businesses. It kind of sounds like if you're feeling even like burnt out, you're not feeling aligned, stuff is spiraling in your world, like maybe you need to connect with Mindy. Like, you can get the free chart, which is great, but so can you guide us a little bit, like your process, or I guess it's a little bit different for corporate and stuff, but like, let's say we'll use me. I'm right here. I'm like, Mindy, I got your free chart, but I want to know more. How do I actually work this into my life? Like, is that what you do? Or do you have a program or?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So I have one signature program right now. What I realized through this entrepreneurship journey, which is very new, and a new mom, that I started out with one-on-one readings that were an hour long, and I just noticed that I was trying to spit all of this information out, and it was almost
give them
like
value.
And then they started almost like drinking from a fire hydrant. It was just so much coming in at once. And I realized that this information, it takes time to embody and to integrate. And so I split that up and I went a little bit deeper. So now I offer one signature program. It's 4 weeks long and it includes 4 45-minute one-on-one sessions with me. Very cool. And I basically meet you where you're at, and we go over if there's certain areas, if you want to look at your career, your business, your personal
health.
Your health, we can go into that.
Relationships.
Yeah, and I really just show you what your human design is all about. So that's one way on a one-on-one aspect to work with me. When it comes to businesses, I host workshops. So we could do it. I typically do a 90-minute workshop, which is 60 minutes of the main aspects of human design, and then I leave about half an hour Q&A. So those are really, really fun. If you're not really ready to jump into the signature offer, which is a little bit lengthy, so I get that, time is everything. I also offer a human design guidebook on my website, so you can get a printout of your human design chart that is 55 plus pages, all unique to you.
So that's cool.
Yeah, so it's a good way
like
to
a Bible.
Introduce you. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then I also do free workshops all the time.
Yes, you do. And you speak at lots of very cool events.
Exactly. So lots of touch points.
I mean, you've seen, is there a person you've recently coached or yourself in these examples where you can just tell, like, you've obviously had to commit, like you didn't know all this about yourself, and then you went through this journey. So you, I mean, like you said, you know the chart of your son, your husband, I'm sure your whole family's on it. But do you believe deep down that if people just actually do what if you follow your human design, things just feel lighter, or you feel like the true you, authentic Mindy?
100%. And I think that even the tiniest aspect of human design, which I feel like is the most overlooked, can drastically change your life, how you operate, how you view things. Yeah, and that is just a tiny little marker. And you'll also see it when you run your free chart. It's called signature and not self-theme. This is so small, but if you bring this into your life every single day and really pay attention to that, things will start moving. And what that means is your signature is the feeling that you'll feel when you're moving in a place of alignment. Right. So it will be a certain emotion like satisfaction or peace. This is basically your flag that, hey, you're moving in the right direction. Things are feeling good within you. And then you have the opposite marker. You have the not self-theme. And this really signals when things are off. They're out of alignment. And what I find in my one-on-one coaching is that a lot of people are really caught up in that not self-theme. Yeah. And there are certain things. And what I love most is I'm not here to show you every single tiny aspect, but I'm really here to be a mirror for you. So you can bring that awareness to what is pushing me into this not self-theme and pushing me out of alignment. Because sometimes it's the simplest switches or pivots that can get you closer into alignment. And our goal when working together is to raise the scale of your alignment and lower the misalignment, because we don't want you having that, living in your misalignment for 60% of the time or more. Something needs to change. So I would say that is the biggest thing to look at, and it's also the simplest and something that is very practical that you can integrate day to day.
Do you ever do where you've done like a session or one of your packages, and then within a year or something, someone comes back and is like, A, maybe they didn't keep up with it, or B, they're just like checking in or wanting your guidance again, or like, because I mean, change doesn't happen. It's yes, little shifts and stuff, but I think with us humans, it's like anything in fitness. It's like, yes, you can give them all the information and the tools, but if they don't take action to change or adapt, and like, let's say we don't need to lose 20 pounds, but let's say it's like, I want to lose 20 pounds. It's like, well, you can't be there to like motivate them to lose the 20 pounds of their health. So it does take that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the biggest thing is when you start diving into human design, there's so much to know. And it's really about experimenting with aspects of your design and really taking the time to embody it. Yeah. You can learn all of the information, but it doesn't really help move the dials if you're not integrating it. Right. And so it's really important for you to keep that, self-responsibility to live out, okay, I'm really misaligned and I know what I can feel if I make these small adjustments, and then it's up to you to make those adjustments. Yeah. So 100%, I've had people that I've worked with, in free workshops a couple of times. They've purchased their guidebook and then they're in a big transition. 9 times out of 10, it's career related, where something just feels a little bit off. They have that aching for something more, and then they want to work one-on-one. And that's when we can start to really pinpoint, here's the things that are kind of pushing you into that not self. So do you need to make a big change, or maybe it's just a conversation that you need to have
with a boss or someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think a lot of that people don't realize too is that even you don't have to change. You don't have to blow up and change careers. You can if you just have the conversations. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, you're not you're stuck in this rut or whatever you're feeling. But usually when you talk to people about it, who knows, there's an opportunity right there, or you find a new opportunity. So that conversation about it. Yeah, it'd be super cool to see in business side too, just like seeing the dynamic of like, okay, you're all generators, you're a reflector. Like, how do we actually shift work to make it flow better?
Yes.
So, very cool. Well, okay, I mean, I could go on and on and on.
I know.
And on. But is there anything I missed that you think, like, while I have you here, that you're like, Alexa, can I just speak on this? Or how do people connect with you?
Yeah. So I think, we covered quite a bit, and we could really sit here all day and talk about this. Best way to find me is my website, mindycrawford.ca. I'm also on Instagram. My handle for the human design aspect is Mindy Crawford Human Design. And just if you want to stay up to date, sign up to my newsletter, because I
do see that.
Yeah, I have
subscribed.
Yeah, good. I have a free workshop that I'm actually working on.
Okay.
I'm in the process of it, and it's going to be really career focused, which I'm really excited about. So that should be happening within the next month or 2 months. But if you want to get started in the meantime, pull your free chart. That's the best way. And then if you want to dive deeper, the guidebook is there for you. And take your time with it. Start slow. You don't have to figure everything all out at once.
You are completely light everything on fire.
That's what I did at first. But take it slow.
I think that's really cool. And I mean, I mean, I'm 32 going on 33. And I think that, you hear about the quarter life crisis. You hear about, midlife crisis. But it's these shifts or these like little quakes or whatever that you have to. But maybe it's just people aren't being aligned with who they are and their energy. So
100%. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Mindy, and thank you, ATB Wealth, again, for sponsoring, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day.
Thank you.
Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.